How are you handling your communication energy exchanges that you have as an intuitive empath? Not only in your workplace, but personally in your life. But let's talk about the workplace. Let's give some tips to that. So, communication energy comes in all forms, right? But do we consider energy? The texts, the emails, the messages, everything, including phone calls, including face to face. How we interpret this energy and how we digest it is very telltale to whether or not we have something we need to fix. Most often in our root chakra. So let's take 3 points on this. Things that I've learned as an intuitive empath in the workplace. I used to be very reactive before I learned to handle this because most often than not, you're going to have communication gaps with most people you work with because unless there is another intuitive empath, they're going to communicate differently. So let's break it down just a little bit. So the first thing, a first helpful tip for you is always do the work on yourself. So first of all, be very self-aware. I've always said the hardest thing you'll ever do is be truthful to yourself, and I mean 100% truthful. So I always like to use myself as an example because I have healed through so much and I'm still healing. But I found that I would take communications right to the solar plexus, right to the stomach. That's our powerhouse, right? Our core. And as I've been healing that more and more, and very much focusing on strengthening that and learning what my destiny is and what my strength is, that thread that's been with me my whole life, it's become very aware that certain communication energy exchanges hit me real hard and I don't like it. And I just kept saying, I don't like this, I want to fix this. So be very aware. Think about your solar plexus is attached to so much. Your heart, your mind, that mind-gut connection. It's triggering something in your lower chakras because that energy feeds up into our solar plexus for our powerhouse, right? So be very aware and do what you need to do to fix that. So as you have that motion and you're going forward working on yourself, how do you parallel that with, say, a leader or management or even your staff or a coworker? Go ahead and pull from that emotional intelligence toolbox I've talked about before. Identify the gaps. You identify a gap with someone that you're having issues with or you don't quite see eye to eye. Well, that happens in communication too. They might be the person that every time they send that communication, it's a trigger for you and you don't know why. Maybe they're shorter when they communicate to you. They're someone that believes in very short to the point communications and you're not. You want an explanation. You want to have it all pointed out. So you just do it once and don't have to do it again, right? So identify those gaps. And if you can, if you're dealing with another person that is high in that emotional intelligence training, then you can have the conversation. You can say, we just have a gap. Can we fix this? Can you help me with this? Can you help me understand when you send these words, are you upset or aren't you upset? Or, is it better that we jump on a call real quick if you're remote work or walk down the hall and talk to them? So identify those gaps and work toward fixing those. So you're working on yourself, you're going forward in your spiritual journey, and you're working on those professional gaps with that person. So what's the third thing? Control the energy. Control it. Learn how to control it. You know that they're going to come in. You know that you're going to have a difference of communication, and maybe even it could even be a family member. They send those abrupt texts. They send those triggering texts, and sometimes that's more difficult because this is a lifelong, maybe more on the karmic side. So keep that control. How do we control that energy exchange? Well, just like everything else. When you're out in public and you physically have to guard yourself over energy exchanges, right? And you put that covering and that protective covering, and you might be so aware of that at this point that it's automatic for you. You've got that covering. So you want to do the same thing with every energy that is going to come into your life every day. Pay attention to where you feel it. That goes back to number 1, so you can fix it. But if you've identified it and you've worked with the person or not, if they don't care to, then control the energy. When it comes in, maybe take time to read it twice. Put it down, go back to it. If it's something that you have to get to right away, I still clarify because I have a tendency to shut down on some things, and I found, that's what needed healing, because that was my protectiveness. Instead of controlling the energy, I would just let it get in there and eat it all up. Just completely tear me apart. So in fixing that, one of the tools that I practice is asking for clarification. I reiterate, does it drive people nuts? I don't know. It could be, but it's good for my health, and it's good for my empathetic abilities. It brings clarity. It also sets boundaries. And it makes me feel like I have some control and some safety, right? I'm still in a safe place with my solar plexus, that I reiterate. So to be clear, just checking to be clear. So what you're saying is, and 9 times out of 10, there's a change in something I thought from the first communication. And I've also found that it's okay not to be rushed. Now, I'm not talking about a day or 2. I'm just talking about a breath. And at the same time, what happens in these practices is you start to form habits of growing spiritually, leading with love, which is what we're supposed to be doing, and then growing professionally. So you are increasing your wellness on both sides. And I don't know about you, but I've had to repeat a couple lessons, especially professionally, because I didn't quite do it right the first time. So as I get another chance, I'm very mindful of the fact, like, I want this done. So I'm going to see what's going on with me to be able to fix that. So that's just a couple of tips I found. I hope it helps you. You can let me know if you have any other questions. I might go ahead and put this on my LEAP webpage too, just as like a download you can have as an intuitive empath tips in the workplace. But let me know if this helps. I've done a couple of these now, and I'm finding how to succeed with my gifts as I'm still in a public workforce. So let me know. I hope it helps you. Have a great day.